Hello, it's Lauren, and today we are doing a Valentine's look, but not just any Valentine's look. This look is almost entirely drugstore, and at that, new to me drugstore, okay? Like, there is a brand here that I've wanted to try for a while, and I feel like I just don't normally see it when I'm out and about. Like, I have a very, specific number of stores that I go to at this point, and this brand I just hadn't seen anywhere. But today I was at CVS and I saw Flower Beauty. I'm so excited. This is Drew Barrymore's line. It is a drugstore line. It is on the more affordable side, and I wanted to do almost an entire face of drugstore beauty for you guys. So let's jump in. So I grabbed quite a bit of Flower Beauty. I picked up the new Maybelline Sky High Mascara. Yeah, it's a little hodgepodge of everything. So we're going to start off with this Flower Lip Mask in the shade Pucker. So the applicator of this is pretty unique. It's got these little holes, and the actual texture of this balm, you squeeze it out. It's pretty cool. So this has the sheerest tint of color, and it has the loveliest thick cushiony texture, and I actually really like this. I put some on a little bit earlier, so I kind of know what to expect from it and how it'll wear off. It doesn't get all weird. It does have some tack to it, but I don't mind that. I prefer that over a lip oil that just slips off of your lips and there's nothing left. And it has a fruity scent, but it's not unpleasant, if you're okay with scent, I guess. I don't mind scent in a lot of stuff. But I just wanted to put this on to prep my lips because we are going to do a matte red lip. I usually struggle with matte products. I feel like they just feel kind of chalky and dusty and gross on my lips. So we're gonna really hydrate those up first. So then I picked up the Get Real foundation. It's a serum foundation, which I really appreciate. Usually these types of foundations have a very, almost skin-loving kind of formula and feel. They're a little more slick. This is described as a medium buildable coverage, so we'll see what we can get with this. Okay, now this isn't a pump, and I kind of primed it. Okay, woo. Let's see what this one little pump will do. I'm gonna kind of drag this all over my face. So with this product, while I'm shopping, I have my daughter in my arms. She's 2, and she's always very curious what I'm buying. So a lot of times, when we're in the store, I will hand her whatever I'm gonna get. Well, she decided with this that she wanted to open the cap. So there may or may not have been foundation pouring out everywhere. It was a great way to see if it would be a good shade match for me because it was everywhere. Okay, so this is actually a pretty good shade match. I don't know if I told you. I got the shade Warm Beige, and it's not a bad match. I don't really feel like this is a medium coverage. I would say it's more of a light coverage, but, oh no. Ooh, I don't know. I don't know about this. Okay, so I did prep my skin with my normal skincare products, and then I used a sunscreen that's kind of high in silicone. And I don't know if you can see that. It's not doing too bad now. On my forehead, I was noticing it was kind of getting a little patchy and textury, and sometimes with a silicone-based product, it can kind of gather and bunch and look almost like dry, flaky skin. I don't know. Okay, we're gonna keep going and see what happens. Sometimes I've found if that happens and you have some type of a silicone product underneath that is causing that kind of it almost looks like dry, flaky skin. It's not. If that happens, you can sometimes use your fingers to kind of smoosh and drag the product out. Okay, let's get a little closer here. This has a really lovely kind of radiant finish, and I feel like it's just kind of one of those products to really even out your skin tone. As you can tell, it really didn't cover up my blemish, And that's fine. Like I'm cool with that. I like this kind of product because they really do just look like beautiful skin. Yeah, the texture issues were mostly just on my forehead, and I'm not really seeing that now. I think it was just kind of, it wasn't mixing well with my sunscreen. Okay, what do we think? It's kind of it's a lighter coverage, but it's really beautiful. We'll have to see how this wears because this is kind of a like wear test first impressions video for most of it. Okay, so I also bought the Flower Concealer, the Light Illusion Full Coverage Concealer in the shade Light. So I am pretty picky about terminology for concealers. If it says it's gonna be a full coverage, by golly, it better be full coverage. I don't like when I buy a concealer and it's not full coverage when it claims to be. That's just really annoying to me. I actually really love having kind of a lighter overall base like on my skin and then going back and spot concealing where I need to. I like having that option. So we'll see what this does. I tend to get a little more redness through here. That helped quite a bit. This is not supposed to cake or crease, which I'm also totally here for because I don't have like a ton of wrinkles or, you know, lines or things like that, but I do have some fine lines, and sometimes products can settle and it just tends to kind of get worse over the day. Okay, so this shade is maybe a touch too light for me, but it's kind of got that brightening effect, so I can roll with it. I'm just going to use my finger to pat that in a little bit. I mean, that's a full coverage, all right? That is a really nice full coverage. I always get this redness right on the bridge of my nose. I don't know why. I said this in another video, but like I didn't realize even when I was a kid that I had redness there. And maybe it's just because like doing what I do, I'm looking in a mirror a lot more, and I actually kind of noticed that, but I had never noticed that when I was younger. I like this. Okay, let's keep going. So today's look that we're doing is going to be a red lip. Yeah, I know it's cliche for Valentine's Day. I love a red lip, okay? And the other thing that I kind of realized when I got home is that I don't really have a lot of drugstore palettes. I actually have one. And it's not really one that works well with a red lip, unfortunately. At least not for the kind of romantic demure vibe that I'm going for Valentine's Day. So I will be playing with a bronzer in place of an eyeshadow. And I'm going to use just a touch of another palette that I have, just a lighter kind of champagne-y kind of color. But like, I have to be really honest with you guys, like since the pandemic started, I haven't been wearing a ton of eyeshadow at all. And I don't know what that is about. I don't know if it's just because it just feels too fussy to me. I don't really know, but I just really haven't been in the mood for like big palettes. I don't really like big palettes of eyeshadow anyway, but like I haven't really been dipping into powder palettes at all. I've been mostly playing with cream products around my eyes, and that's been working out okay for me. All right, so this coverage is pretty dang impressive. That little like blotch of redness and that pimple that I have, she's gone, all right? Yeah, I'm on board with this. This is some good stuff. Flower Beauty coming through. But you know, it's kind of funny. I don't really feel like I've seen a lot of people talking about this brand. Like I feel like it's kind of rare. Now, this is called the Gel Crush Lip and Cheek in the shade, what are you? Raspberry Crush. So I did swatch this on my hand when I got home. And what I didn't realize was that this has some like shiny, shimmery, almost like glittery particles in it, which I don't love. The color I think is fabulous. I do love this like really fresh pink. And it has a hint of warmth in the undertone. It's not overly cool. It is really pretty. So this kind of reminds me of like the Oleoso sticks. It's like almost exactly the same type of packaging. The good news is this stuff doesn't have essential oils in it, which I try to avoid on my face because I tend to have somewhat reactive skin with essential oils on my face. That's really pretty. I feel very like luminous and fresh, and I'm here for that. I'm really embracing more glowy face makeup than I used to. I still powder through my T-zone because I do tend to get pretty oily. Okay, so for my powder, what I'm gonna do, this is not drugstore per se, it's definitely drugstore priced though, and it's the Nye Banana Powder. And I actually have it in an old sifter, and I'm just gonna lightly tap. But this stuff, you guys, you can order it, I think, online. But it is just one of, I would say, one of my favorites. Every time I use it, when I've had like a long period of time where I haven't used it and then I bust it out again, I'm always like, oh my God, why did I stop using it? It's such a great powder. I put this on my brow bone too. It doesn't get cakey. It always looks really good. It has that brightening effect. I'm a big fan of this powder. I actually first started using this powder because I did my own makeup for my wedding. And this was one of the things that kept popping up that a lot of makeup artists were recommending, like especially if you were doing your own makeup. And so I kind of have just had it in my kit ever since I got married. All right. I'm gonna bring back a little radiance. Sometimes I find that if I have put on a bit of powder and I've kind of flattened things out, if you use your fingers and you kind of tap on your skin, you can almost like warm up and reactivate product underneath it, so it's not completely flat anymore. So now that I've got that on, I'm going to use another drugstore product, a true drugstore product, which is the Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer. I just have a little baby pan of this. This is really great for travel. Not that anybody is really traveling at this point, but this is just such a great little thing to have, and a little goes a long way with this formula. And you can tell it just adds a nice warmth and radiance. They don't have a ton of shades, unfortunately. Physicians Formula, I feel like, could do a much better job. And I feel like that's kind of true of a lot of drugstore brands and all beauty brands in general, is that they could have much bigger shade ranges than they do. That's going to be an ongoing thing in the beauty community, and I think that we need to talk about that. There is definitely a lack of inclusion within the space of beauty. And, you know, I remember at one point in the last couple of years walking through like Target and looking at the shades, and it was appalling to me, because I had never stopped to look at the depth of the shade ranges. As a white woman, there's always a shade for me. And walking through Target and realizing a lot of the women around me that are shopping for other cosmetics, they might not have a foundation or a concealer that's going to match their skin tone. I had a moment where I thought, like, what if that were me? I would be pissed. I would be livid. I would be so frustrated. And so, you know, I've really started to care a lot more about being outspoken about that. Like, especially when I'm reviewing products, I think it's important to make note of that when a brand is not inclusive. And, you know, there's a couple of lines of thought that I think a lot of people fall into, and it's kind of like, okay, I'm not going to support this brand because they're not inclusive. There's, you know, people like myself who I still review and try things, but like I am vocal when I'm frustrated about a brand's lack of inclusivity. I feel like that is the least I can do, is to call attention to it. And the reason I kind of took this stance over flat out not supporting, we'll circle back in a minute. I have some big thoughts on this. I really like to be vocal about it because I think that it's the best way to affect change. If I'm buying a product, I am a consumer, and I'm going to reach out and tell this brand, like, hey, you're leaving people out. Like, that's money on the table, first of all. Like, that's stupid. But second of all, like, you can do better as a brand. You can do better by people. Like, where is your humanity? Okay? I know it's just makeup, but like, it really bothers me now. So I still use products because I want to open up that conversation. And if I'm not trying a product, if I'm not using it and I don't have anything else to say about it, it just is me attacking a brand, right? But like, I'm paying you money. I am a consumer here and I have an opinion. So that's kind of where I'm at with my beauty journey. I don't know. Like, I would love to know what you all think of this. I don't know that there's really a great right answer. I will say, so this is what I was going to circle back on. There are some brands that I don't use anymore because I've had a dialogue with them and they flat out refuse to do better. They flat out refuse to expand their shade ranges. They refuse to pay Black creators appropriately. They refuse to address Black creators. I'm done with certain brands. Okay, that was a little ranty. I'm sorry. Let's get back to Valentine's Day. Okay, I'm gonna go in with the same bronzer over my eyes. This is something you'll see me do a lot. I love doing this. It ties everything together really, really nicely. Gives some depth into the eyes. See, it's just such a basic thing, but I feel like it adds so much. I'm gonna pinch this brush. I don't feel like getting another brush right now, so I'm gonna make this a little bit thinner and just very gently go underneath the eye. See, it's just a little bit flatter. Going underneath the eye. Okay, do a little more right there. Now, this is the part where I told you guys I was gonna dip into something that is not drugstore, but I don't have anything else like this. And I really think that this is something that's just gonna elevate it up just a little tiny bit. So I'm gonna use my Clove and Hallow Pressed Sunrise Pigment palette. And I'm gonna use just a little tiny bit of this middle shade. And I'm gonna get a slightly smaller brush. And I'm really just gonna concentrate this lighter color on the very center of my lids, because I think about it like a spotlight. I want a spotlight right over my iris. Okay, and then I'm just gonna use my finger, tap it out. I don't want this to be too fussy. The lip is going to be a very fussy, bright color, and hopefully one that will stay in place because it's red. I have heard that this lip product is pretty budge proof, so we're gonna put that to the test. Okay, now more from Flower Beauty. Guys, I am so excited about trying Flower Beauty. I just think it's cute, okay? And it's by Drew Barrymore, all right? She is like America's darling and like a ray of sunshine of a human being. So this is their brow product, and this is the Fiber Fix Brow Gel. Now tell me that doesn't look like a boy brow brush if you ever saw one. This is a fiber product, and I got the shade, I believe, light brown. Yeah, light brown. And I need a mirror because I've got to get in close. So I'm going to use this and we'll see what happens. I've been buying blonde brow products a lot, but now that my hair's a little darker and closer to my natural color, I decided we would try a light brown and kind of see what happens and make sure it's not too severe. It's usually why I buy blonde, because I don't want my brows to look really harsh, I guess. Okay, so we've got, it definitely has some hold, you can tell. I tried a little bit of this earlier just to see if it would kind of raise up my brows and get them to stay. Okay, so that's just going in once. That looks pretty good. Okay, my brows are pretty patchy. So what I do when I use like a brow gel like this is I go in with my first coat normally, and I kind of like make it all thicker, fluff it all up, and let it set a little bit. And then what I like to do is I use the very tip of this where the metal is, and I will drag this on the skin on my patchy spots. So like usually right here in the arch of my brow, sometimes a little bit on the top and a little bit through the tail. I'll kind of just drag that product and it deposits enough on the skin that I don't need to use like a brow pencil. So let's see what this will do. And usually like I will do that to kind of fill in a little bit, and then I'll just kind of fluff through them one more time. And it's usually just right. I've just really learned to kind of embrace my eyebrows, and I've been so much happier not having to be so fussy and perfect with them and like precious, you know, like my eyebrows are a little wild sometimes. So am I. That's okay. Okay, so the one thing you do have to watch out when you do this is that you don't want to create like a giant streak through your brow. So that's why I suggest going back through, kind of fluffing it out a little bit once you get more of that pigment built up where you want it. Cute. Okay. All right, flower, I see you. That is cute. Now, hopefully this will actually hold it up in place. I think my biggest issue with some brow gels and products like this is that a lot of them just don't have quite enough hold, and I need just a little bit more. My brow hairs tend to want to fall down, and especially because I've got hair that like lays across my face half the time, and it will push those brow hairs down, and then it makes my brows look kind of sad, and then the rest of my face looks sad. So I really try to find brow products that are going to hold things up. We'll see how this wears. It definitely seems like it has some hold to it, but some of my favorites have been like the Glossier Boy Brow, in Anastasia Beverly Hills, their Dip Brow Gel. Unreal, okay? Like unreal hold. So let's do a little bit of eyeliner. This is the NYX Epic Wear. This is not new. I've had this for a while, but this stuff is like everything proof. Like it will be with you for a while, like days. It's hard to get it all off. It wears really, really well, and it does not move. So this is like, if you're looking for an inky black eyeliner, what color? It's called Pitch Black. It is pitch black. If you want an eyeliner that is not going to move on you, this is it. So I'm just going to go in close on the lash, kind of create a little subtle cat wing. Right? And then what I'm going to do is use an angled brush and kind of manipulate that texture, manipulate that line a bit. Honestly, this is such a great pencil because you do have that little window of time that you can kind of work with it before it's like on. It does remind me in the wear a little bit of like the Marc Jacobs pencils, kind of that creamy gel texture, and then once it's on, it's not going anywhere. So let's do the other eye. All right, it's not perfect, but we're just gonna roll with it because that's just my life, all right? I just roll with things now. Being a mother has changed me. Just roll with it. Life is not perfect, it's still beautiful. Okay, so let's try this mascara. I have to tell you, I did try it off camera prior to this. I already have some thoughts about it, okay? This mascara has been sold out at Target forever. Like, since it launched, I have not been able to get my hands on this mascara. It was at CVS. So this is the Sky High Mascara. It's like a branch off of their Lash Sensational. Okay, my first opinion of this. It's so bendy. I hate that. I hate that in a mascara. Why? Because when you press it into your eyelashes, it bends all over the place. That really annoys me. I would much rather it be solid like this other portion of the wand all the way through and then have like soft bristles. I don't like when silicone wands are bendy because it usually means they are messy. So I do like the shape. I think that's really nice. There's also something interesting that's kind of hard to show on camera, but there's like two, let me see if I can, there's like two little channels on each side that grab a bit more product, and it's not just all bristles. So let me do a coat or two of this and we'll talk about it. Yeah. She's not shy. All right. That's some mascara. I love how it looks. Hate the brush. Love what it does on the lashes though. Okay, let's do the other eye. I almost just shoved this mascara wand into my Westman Atelier pot. You guys, I would cry. Okay. The other thing I will say about wands like this, when they're so flexible, I feel like it is harder to really get good separation on your lashes because the brush is like all over the place and it just makes it just a pain in the butt. Like I don't want to have to use a lash comb after I do this. I want the brush to act like the lash comb. And when it's this soft and just goopy feeling, like it doesn't, look at that. Like that's annoying to me. If this brush wasn't so bendable, it wouldn't be doing that. Like obviously I can comb it out, but like it takes a lot more work when the brush is bending all over the place. Maybelline, if you want me to love this, change the wand. Because I think otherwise it would be like incredible. But like I'm just so annoyed while I'm putting it on. Look at that. It's like... I've got a lot of opinions on mascara. I'm really, really picky. Okay, that, you know, that's it. That's what we're gonna leave it at. I'm gonna do just like tiny bit on those outer corners. Nothing too crazy here. Okay, it's a beautiful mascara. Despite my frustrations with it, it's really a beautiful mascara. I just don't like that brush. Like the pliability of it is a big pet peeve for me. Okay, now this next product I'm very excited about because I normally don't like a matte lip, but I bought the, what is this called? Superstay Matte Ink in the shade Exhilirator. And this came recommended by the podcast Fat Mascara. And I can't remember who said it, but either Jess or Jen said that this is like mask proof. And like, let me tell you, I think it was stuck in there. Oh, it's like a little dough foot with like a space in the middle maybe. And it looks really creamy, surprisingly. Anyway, one of the gals on Fat Mascara said that this is mask proof and like such a great color because it makes her teeth look whiter and brighter, and like I am all here for that. Oh, and before I put this on, another thing I thought was super interesting. So when I first like tested out this little like gel cheek color on my hand, and then I did a little dab of this next to it, I noticed that the colors kind of coordinated really nicely together. They looked really pretty together. And I thought about something for a second. I was like, I bet you that there are similar pigments in both of them. And they share some of the same like lake dyes and stuff. And so I kind of thought about it and I was like, you know, if someone really wanted kind of like a really well coordinated lip and cheek, you could just look at the different dyes and stuff. And if they've got some similar ones in there, you're gonna look more cohesive. I don't know, just kind of my like thought / tip of the day. Okay, I haven't applied this to my lips. I have no idea how this is gonna go. This could be disastrous, and I'm really hoping it's not because that's a bright red. Okay. Lips are well hydrated. Let's pray. Whoa, that is a bright red lip. Ooh, it does make your teeth look brighter though. That's really pretty. So it gives you some time to work. My lips are kind of uneven. They're straighter on this side and more rounded on this side. So I always try to like round it out a little bit more. Okay, it's definitely starting to dry down a bit. And as it's drying down, it has like a slight tack to it. We'll give this a few minutes and I'm gonna check back in with you and like kind of give you a little rundown I always try to like smoosh that color into my lips where they touch a little bit more, because I hate that like dreaded lip line where it's like obvious that you have on a liquid lip and then like the inside of your mouth. It just looks really weird to me. So I try to like squish it, you know? It sounds so goofy. Okay, I'll be back in a few minutes. All right, we're back. I added on just a titch more blush. I felt like it needed a little extra color. And I just had to share this with you guys. So I got this, if I opened it the right way, that'd be much cuter. I got this beautiful fan the other day, and I thought like how great it would be for my makeup corner, but like Patrick Ta sells one now, and I got this at like a local international goods store. It's kind of like a small business version of like Cost Plus World Market. And I bought this for like $4, and I think it's beautiful, and it's great for helping your makeup set down faster. Life pro tip, people. Okay, so this feels, it's like almost, I think, done setting down. It has like a slight tack to it. I think that will like eventually go away. That color is stunning though. While I was away, I looked up to see how many shades Flower has of their foundation and their concealer. As of right now, of me posting this, there are 16 shades of foundation and 12 shades of the concealer. They do skew pretty dark, but I feel like they need more shades in the middle and they need more deep shades. And that's pretty, I feel like, standard with a lot of cosmetics companies at this point. I think a lot of women that have deeper skin tones would likely need to mix 2 shades to get their ideal color if they weren't in like this really small window, you know? Same thing with the concealers. I will say all of this is very, very well priced. Where did my receipt go? Hang on. All right, so let's go over a little price checklist of all of this. So this, $9.99. Mascara, $11.29. The brow product, $9.29. The cheek product, $9.79. The foundation, $14.99. The concealer, $10.49. And for the little lip mask, it was $9.79. So most of what's in the Flower range is about $10. There are a few products that go a little bit over that, but I feel like it's very well priced for like a drugstore range. And I say that because like I feel like so many drugstore brands now, like they're like $15-20, and I'm like, that's not drugstore to me, okay? And maybe that's also part of why I stopped buying so much from the drugstore, was that like, you know, a lot of it's like almost as much as like prestige, you know, and like what's a couple more bucks at that point? Like if I'm already going to be paying $20 for something, I might as well get something that's like higher end, you know? I want my drugstore to be drugstore, like real drugstore. Okay, now I feel like I have a little bit too much blush like high up, and my concealer is really bright. Hang on. It's too much. It's all too much. Okay. Could just be because I'm like extra heated about all of this now too. Anyway, overall, what are my thoughts on this? I want to do a wear test for you guys and kind of like check back in and see how things wear throughout the day. I really like all of it, actually. I'm actually really happy with how it all applied. I did notice I have a tiny bit of creasing right around my nose. And that could be from the concealer. And I did notice too that the concealer looks a little textured in spots, and that it could be my skin because I've been using a retinol. It could be that I used a silicone product underneath it that it just doesn't quite agree with. But the concealer seems like it's trying to do some funky things with the texture, whereas the serum is actually really, really beautiful. I love how my brows look. This mascara is exceptional. Let's just hope it doesn't transfer on my brow bone. That is my nightmare with mascara. The cheek color is gorgeous. Honestly, I thought that that little bit of shimmer, like kind of a gold shimmer in it, would really irritate me and annoy me, but I actually don't mind. It's like not super obvious or chunky, and this lip color is beautiful. We'll see how I feel about it in a couple of hours. I might still love it, I might hate it. The color itself is stunning. I'm just really weird with matte lips. So we'll check in later. Okay, so here we are for the end of day check-in. And I always love this time because I can really kind of gauge what's happening with the product and if I like it or not. So overall, my skin, I think, looks really pretty good. It's a little glowy, but it's not greasy and things are not falling apart. I'm actually really, really impressed with that Serum foundation. I think it's beautiful. My under eyes are still covered. They're not creasing where my fine lines are, so that's also a really good sign. My little pimple up here did not stay covered, but you know, is what it is. My eyebrows, I really like how they looked. They did kind of fall down where my hair brushes over it. It's not a huge deal. Let's talk about this mascara. My eyelashes look incredible and I have zero smudging. I'm actually a little bit shocked about that. That's pretty amazing. If they would change the wand so it wasn't flexible like that, I would say it's my favorite drugstore mascara. Incredible. Okay, it's the next day. I have to do a little excerpt real fast. The wear on that mascara is redonkulous. Like, so I took a steaming hot bath. I was sweating my face off. That mascara didn't smudge, it didn't flake, it didn't budge. It's not a waterproof. I don't understand the magic of this formula. Kudos to Maybelline. I don't like the brush still, but we'll work around it because look at my eyelashes, my gosh. And then the other thing I wanted to say was the textural issues that I was having when I was applying both the Serum foundation and the concealer, I'm pretty sure were due to my sunscreen. I used a different sunscreen today and I didn't have that same issue where it was trying to pill up on me. So definitely something worth noting. Sometimes your sunscreens and other products can kind of affect how your base products apply. So, okay, that's my little excerpt. Cheek color is so pretty and radiant. It's still on. Like, it doesn't really look like it's faded at all. I'm actually gonna have to try that as like a lip color. I think it would be really, really beautiful. And then use like that mask on top of it. Yep, we're gonna do that. Now let's talk about this matte ink lip stuff. I don't love it. And I'm not really surprised. I don't really love liquid lips like that. I did forget that Maybelline makes an ink crayon version of that. But basically what happened was it just started crumbling and falling apart where my lips touch, and it just really stopped looking good. Even though it was transfer proof, like I was kissing all over the baby and hubby and nothing was getting on either of them, but it really just was starting to fall apart and not look good anymore. And I'll put a picture up here. But this stuff actually feels really comfortable on the lips and it doesn't crumble the same way because it's that waxy crayon texture rather than being like a lacquered vinyl. So let me show you what this looks like. I forgot to mention, I actually like took off that crumbly mess and then just dotted it on more like a stain, but I still feel like it wore off kind of patchy in doing so. But let me show you this. So this is the color, what is it called? I think it's called Make It Happen. Pretty sure. It's like a raspberry reddish color. The way that this feels is like a million times better than like that vinyl feeling on my lips. I can't do liquid lipstick. But you get that similar like blotted effect. It's a bold, vibrant color, which I think is so beautiful. So like I would say, like, if you had to pick between the two of the Maybellines, I would go with the Crayon. I just don't love liquid lips and I keep trying and I'm disappointed literally every single time. But let me see, I'm gonna do like a little like kiss test on my hand. You do get a little transfer. That's the first time. I'm gonna kiss above it too and see if we get as much transfer the second time. None, barely any, if any at all. So I think that this would be pretty mask proof as well, and it would be more comfortable. So that is my Valentine's look, kind of a little like wear test demo of Flower Beauty and the new Sky High from Maybelline. I hope that you enjoyed this. I hope that you have a happy Valentine's Day, and I will see you next time. Thanks for watching.